There is a difference between true kindness and people-pleasing, and if you do not learn to recognize it, you will spend your life drained, frustrated, and wondering why giving so much never seems to bring the peace or respect you hoped for. True kindness is an act of strength. It flows from a heart that knows its worth and chooses to extend goodness without expectation. People-pleasing, on the other hand, is a habit of fear. It comes from a place of insecurity, a constant calculation about how to avoid rejection, how to be liked, how to keep the peace at any cost. One path lifts you up, the other keeps you small. When you live with true kindness, your actions align with your values, not with someone else's demands. You do good because it is who you are, not because you are terrified of what might happen if you say no. You offer respect, love, and generosity as a reflection of your own integrity. And here's the thing, real kindness doesn't always look soft. Sometimes it looks like telling someone the truth they do not want to hear. Sometimes it looks like walking away when someone refuses to respect you. Sometimes it looks like silence instead of agreement. True kindness honors both others and yourself, while people-pleasing honors everyone else at the expense of yourself. Think about it like this. People-pleasing is giving from an empty cup. You are always pouring, always bending, always stretching beyond your limits, and eventually there's nothing left for you. True kindness is giving from overflow. It comes from a full heart, from a strong spirit, from a place where you've already taken care of your responsibilities, respected your own limits, and built your own strength. That's why true kindness never leaves you resentful. It feels right, balanced, purposeful. People-pleasing always leaves you tired, bitter, and secretly angry, because deep down you know you are giving not out of love, but out of fear. You see, people-pleasing is a strategy to control how others see you. It is not selfless, though it may look that way. It is driven by the belief that if you just do enough, smile enough, sacrifice enough, people will finally value you. But that day never comes. Because people who benefit from your lack of boundaries will only take more. They will not respect you for your endless yes. They will expect it. They will demand it. And the moment you say no, they will call you selfish. That is the trap of people-pleasing. You are building a house on sand, always waiting for it to collapse. True kindness, though, is freedom. It is the power to choose. It does not demand recognition, but it also does not fear rejection. It understands that not everyone will like you, not everyone will agree with you, and not everyone deserves a seat at your table. And that is okay. Because kindness is not about pleasing the world, it is about living in alignment with your highest values. It is about treating others with dignity while never sacrificing your own. It is about strength wrapped in compassion, firmness wrapped in love, truth wrapped in grace. The reason so many confuse kindness with people-pleasing is because they never learned the value of their own voice. From a young age, many were taught to keep quiet, to keep smiling, to avoid conflict at all costs. They were rewarded for obedience, not authenticity. And so they grew into adults who apologize for existing, who say yes when every part of them wants to say no, who believe that love must always be earned by service and sacrifice. But the truth is that love given conditionally is not love at all. And the sooner you realize that, the sooner you stop selling yourself short. Building the courage to live with true kindness means you will have to face the discomfort of disappointing people. You will have to face the frowns, the disapproval, the accusations, and it will hurt. Especially if those reactions come from people you care about. But that pain is temporary, while the strength you gain lasts forever. Every time you stand firm in your boundaries, every time you honor your truth, every time you act out of conviction instead of fear, you build a deeper kind of respect for yourself, and eventually from others who recognize your integrity. Let me tell you something important. Being kind does not mean being available to everyone. You are not called to rescue every sinking ship, to solve every problem, to be a constant source of comfort for people who refuse to help themselves. That is not kindness, that is slavery. True kindness recognizes the limits of your responsibility. You cannot carry everyone, you cannot save everyone, you cannot please everyone, but you can be a light where you are. You can lift those who are ready to be lifted. You can serve those who respect the hand you extend, and that is enough. When you embrace this truth, your relationships shift. You stop attracting people who see you as a doormat, and you start drawing those who value your strength. You stop saying yes to every demand, and you start saying yes only to what aligns with your purpose. You stop chasing approval, and you start living with peace. True kindness will never burn you out because it does not come from fear of rejection, but from the abundance of love you already carry inside. So take a moment and examine your life. Ask yourself why you do the things you do. Are you giving because you are afraid of what will happen if you stop? Are you agreeing because you do not want to lose someone's approval? Are you silent because you do not want to risk conflict? If so, you are not being kind, you are people-pleasing. But if you are giving because you choose to, because it reflects your values, because it is the right thing even when it costs you, then you are walking in true kindness. The world does not need more people-pleasers. It needs people of conviction. It needs people who can say no when no is required, who can stand when it would be easier to bow, who can speak truth when silence would keep the peace. That is the kind of kindness that changes lives, the kind that lifts others without diminishing yourself, the kind that leaves a legacy long after the applause fades. That is the path worth walking, and it is the path you must choose if you want to live with dignity, strength, and purpose. Setting boundaries is one of the greatest acts of respect you can ever give in your life, not just to others, but also to yourself. Boundaries are not walls that shut people out. They are doors that determine who can enter and under what conditions. They are the lines that say, this is where I stand, this is what I will allow, this is what I will not accept. Without them, you are a house with no doors, open to anyone, anytime, with no regard for your peace or your dignity. And when that happens, resentment builds, self-worth erodes, and relationships collapse under the weight of unspoken expectations. When you set boundaries, you are saying, my time has value, my energy has worth, my voice matters. That declaration is not arrogance, it is truth. Respecting yourself enough to draw lines is the foundation of every healthy connection you will ever have. Because if you do not respect yourself, others will not either. People treat you according to the standards you set. If you accept disrespect, it will continue. If you tolerate manipulation, it will grow. But if you stand firm and say no when no is needed, you teach people how to treat you. Boundaries are not about pushing people away. They are about bringing the right people closer. Think about it. A friend who truly loves and values you will not be offended when you say you need space, when you decline an invitation, when you protect your priorities. They will understand because they have boundaries too. The only people who resent your boundaries are those who benefited from you having none. And when those people push back, that is not a signal for you to bend. It is a test of your strength. It is your opportunity to show that you are no longer living to please. You are living to stand tall. Boundaries also create clarity. So many relationships break down, not because love is missing, but because respect is missing. One person keeps giving until they are empty, while the other keeps taking without even realizing the cost. But when you establish clear boundaries, you bring honesty into the relationship. You say, here is what I need, here is what I cannot accept, here is how we can walk together in balance. That clarity may cause some friction, but it prevents years of silent bitterness. And bitterness, once it grows, poisons love from the inside out. Setting boundaries is also about discipline. It means saying no to short-term comfort for the sake of long-term peace. It feels easier in the moment to just go along, to avoid conflict, to give in. But that ease is deceptive. Each time you betray your own needs, each time you silence your voice, each time you put yourself last without reason, you pay a price. Over time, that price becomes exhaustion, resentment, even illness. Discipline means you endure the discomfort of disappointing someone else now in order to honor your own integrity later. That is respect in its purest form. Let's be clear, boundaries are not just about others, they are about you. They are about respecting your own limits, managing your own time, protecting your own energy. If you run yourself into the ground saying yes to everything, you are not being kind, you are being careless with the life you have been given. You cannot pour into others if your own cup is dry. Respecting yourself enough to rest, to recharge, to say, not today, is as important as any kindness you extend to others. That balance is what keeps you strong enough to keep showing up in the ways that truly matter. And boundaries are not only about saying no, they are also about saying yes to your purpose, your growth, your calling. When you say no to distractions, you are saying yes to focus. When you say no to toxic relationships, you are saying yes to peace. When you say no to constant demands on your time, you are saying yes to the future you are building. Boundaries are not restrictions, they are protections. They protect the space where you can grow, where you can heal, where you can become the person you were meant to be. The greatest misunderstanding about boundaries is that they are selfish. But the truth is the opposite. Boundaries are what make real love possible. Without them, your kindness turns into resentment, your giving becomes empty, your presence feels heavy instead of light. With them, your yes has meaning, your love is authentic, and your service flows from strength instead of exhaustion. Respect for yourself creates the conditions where respect for others can thrive. You cannot give what you do not have. Boundaries ensure that what you give is real, whole, and lasting. And here is something powerful to remember. Setting boundaries does not just change how others treat you, it changes how you see yourself. Every time you enforce a boundary, you remind yourself that you are worth protecting. Every time you stand firm, you strengthen your self-respect. That confidence spills into every area of your life, your work, your relationships, your dreams. Boundaries teach you that you are not at the mercy of the world. You are an active participant in shaping the life you want to live. Boundaries are respect, and respect is the foundation of love, peace, and success. Without boundaries, you are scattered, pulled in every direction, used by people who do not value you. With boundaries, you are centered, strong, purposeful. You walk with clarity, you build relationships on truth, and you create a future where your time, energy, and love are given to the people and causes that deserve them most. And that is not just good for you, it is good for everyone you touch, because you are offering the best of yourself, not the leftovers of a life lived for others' approval. So do not be afraid to draw the line. Do not apologize for protecting your peace. Do not hesitate to demand respect. Because when you set boundaries, you are saying to the world, I respect myself enough to honor my life, and I respect you enough to show you how to treat me. That is not selfish, that is strength. That is wisdom. That is the path to a life of dignity, balance, and purpose. The hidden cost of being nice to everyone is one of the most dangerous traps you can fall into in life, because on the surface it looks noble, it looks admirable, it looks like the right thing to do. People see you smiling, always agreeable, always ready to help, and they call you kind, dependable, selfless, and for a while that praise feels good. It feels like you're doing something right. But underneath the surface, something much darker is taking place. Every time you silence your own voice to keep the peace, every time you say yes when your heart is screaming no, every time you give to someone who only takes, you are cutting small pieces of yourself away. And the tragedy is you may not even notice until you're left with almost nothing. Being nice to everyone means you're constantly running calculations in your head. You're asking yourself, how can I keep them happy? How can I avoid conflict? How can I keep everyone liking me? That may keep things smooth on the outside, but on the inside, it eats away at your soul. You stop living for your own values and start living for the expectations of others. And when that happens, you are no longer steering your own life. You've handed over the wheel to anyone bold enough to grab it. One of the greatest costs of being nice to everyone is the loss of authenticity. If you're always playing the part of the agreeable one, you're never truly yourself. You laugh when you don't find something funny. You agree when your heart tells you otherwise. You accept treatment you know you don't deserve. Over time, you forget what your real voice even sounds like. And that is a tragedy, because the world doesn't need another copy of everyone else. It needs your voice, your truth, your presence. But you cannot offer that if you're buried under layers of false smiles and empty yeses. Another cost is exhaustion. People think being nice is easy, but it is actually exhausting when it comes from a place of fear. You are constantly on guard, constantly adjusting, constantly managing the emotions of everyone around you. That kind of living drains you, body and soul. It leads to burnout, bitterness, and even physical illness. Your body is not designed to live in a state of constant tension, always bending, always suppressing, always pretending. And when you finally collapse under the weight of it all, the very people you sacrificed for are often nowhere to be found. And then there's the cost of respect. You think being nice will make people value you, but the truth is the opposite. People may like you, but they don't respect you. They see you as convenient, as safe, as someone who won't push back. And when people don't respect you, they take advantage of you. They demand more, they give less, and they assume you'll always be there no matter how poorly they treat you. Over time, you start to feel invisible. You start to feel like your needs don't matter, like you exist only to serve. And that is not respect. That is exploitation dressed up as friendship or love. Being nice to everyone also costs you opportunities. While you're busy trying to keep people comfortable, you're holding back from pursuing the bold moves that would change your life. You're afraid to rock the boat, afraid to say what you really think, afraid to disappoint. But greatness requires the courage to stand out, to risk disapproval, to chase something bigger than applause. If you're trapped in the cycle of niceness, you never take that risk. You stay small, safe, forgettable. And years later, you look back and realize you traded your potential for the comfort of others. The deepest cost, though, is self-betrayal. Every time you say yes when you mean no, you betray yourself. Every time you allow disrespect, you betray yourself. Every time you shrink your light so someone else doesn't feel threatened, you betray yourself. And betrayal hurts more when it comes from within. You can recover from someone else's betrayal, but when you've spent years betraying yourself, it leaves scars that are hard to heal. It takes away your confidence, your joy, your sense of who you are. And without that, life loses its meaning. But here's the truth you must hold on to. There's a difference between being nice and being kind. Niceness is about pleasing others, even at your own expense. Kindness is about standing in your truth and offering genuine love and respect without losing yourself. Kindness sometimes looks like saying no. Kindness sometimes looks like walking away. Kindness sometimes looks like telling someone what they don't want to hear because it's the truth they need. Niceness sacrifices you for the sake of harmony. Kindness protects you while still honoring others. And that difference changes everything. When you stop trying to be nice to everyone, you start reclaiming your life. You start speaking your truth, even if your voice shakes. You start setting boundaries, even if it means some people walk away. You start living with integrity, even if not everyone approves. And what you gain is worth every bit of discomfort. You gain respect from yourself first, and then from others who recognize your strength. You gain peace, because you're no longer torn in 100 directions. You gain real relationships, built on honesty instead of performance. And most of all, you gain freedom, the freedom to live as who you truly are, not as who others expect you to be. So take a hard look at your life. Ask yourself who you've been nice to at the cost of your own soul. Ask yourself where you've been silencing your voice, where you've been overgiving, where you've been hiding, and then make the choice to stop. Make the choice to stand in kindness, not niceness. Make the choice to live in truth, not performance. Make the choice to respect yourself enough to draw the line, because at the end of the day, the cost of being nice to everyone is far too high. It will rob you of your strength, your joy, your future. But the reward of living with courage, boundaries, and authenticity is a life of dignity, peace, and purpose that no amount of false approval could ever replace. Selective kindness builds influence and success in ways that blind generosity never could, because when you learn to direct your kindness with wisdom and purpose, you transform it from a scattered act of people-pleasing into a force that shapes lives and commands respect. Kindness without discernment may win you short-term approval, but it drains your energy and leaves you vulnerable to exploitation. Selective kindness, on the other hand, is intentional. It is guided by principles, aligned with your goals, and directed toward people and places where it creates real impact. It is not about withholding love, but about channeling it in ways that matter. You cannot be everywhere for everyone, and the moment you try, you diminish the very power of what you bring. Spreading yourself too thin leaves you exhausted and ineffective. But when you are selective, when you choose where to invest your time, energy, and compassion, your kindness multiplies in its effect. A drop of water in the ocean disappears, but that same drop in the desert can save a life. In the same way, your kindness offered without thought may go unnoticed, but kindness offered with intention can change someone's path forever. Selective kindness also builds influence because it teaches people to value your presence. When you are kind to everyone indiscriminately, people take you for granted. They expect it. They begin to see it not as a gift, but as something owed. But when your kindness is thoughtful, when it is given because you choose, not because you fear rejection, people recognize its weight. They listen. When you speak, they respect your time, they honor your effort. And over time, that respect turns into influence. You become someone whose words matter, whose actions inspire, whose presence carries authority. Success is not built on endless yeses. It is built on clarity. It is built on knowing what aligns with your values and what does not. Selective kindness reinforces that clarity. It reminds you that every time you say yes to one thing, you are saying no to another. You cannot build a vision, a career, or a legacy if you are constantly distracted by demands that do not serve your purpose. But when you direct your kindness toward the right people, the right opportunities, the right causes, you are building brick by brick the life you are meant to live. And that focus is what separates those who drift from those who lead. There is also a deeper truth here. Selective kindness is not about being cold or calculating. It is about protecting the source of your strength so you can give it where it matters most. Think about a leader who tries to please everyone. That leader ends up pleasing no one. They lose respect, they lose authority, they lose their way. But a leader who acts with conviction, who chooses carefully where to extend patience, where to extend generosity, where to extend support, builds loyalty and trust. People follow not because they are flattered, but because they are inspired. Influence grows not from appeasement, but from authenticity. Selective kindness also frees you from resentment. If you give to everyone without discernment, you will inevitably give to those who misuse your trust, who drain your energy, who never reciprocate. And nothing corrodes the heart faster than giving endlessly without acknowledgement or respect. But when you are selective, you protect yourself from that cycle. You give to those who are ready to receive, who will honor your effort, who will grow because of your support, and that exchange creates momentum. It creates growth. It creates a ripple effect that spreads far beyond what you could have imagined. Success is not just about what you achieve for yourself, it is about the impact you leave on others. And selective kindness ensures that your impact is real. It ensures that your energy is not wasted on those who will trample it, but invested in those who will carry it forward. A single act of kindness to the right person at the right time can spark a chain of influence that reaches places you will never see. That is the power of being intentional. That is the difference between kindness that fades and kindness that builds legacies. But selective kindness is also about self-respect. When you choose carefully where to give, you are telling yourself that your time, your energy, your love are precious. You are affirming your own worth. And that affirmation makes you stronger. It makes you walk taller, speak clearer, act with conviction. And the world responds to that strength. Doors open, opportunities come, people gravitate toward you. Influence and success are drawn to those who know their own value, and selective kindness is one of the clearest ways to express that. Of course, this path is not easy. It will mean saying no more often. It will mean disappointing people who have grown used to your constant availability. It will mean enduring criticism from those who confuse boundaries with selfishness. But the price of trying to please everyone is far greater. It costs you your peace, your purpose, your potential. The price of selectiveness is temporary discomfort, but the reward is lasting influence and true success. And when you look back, you will realize that every no you spoke was really a yes to something greater. Selective kindness builds influence because it makes your presence meaningful. It builds success because it keeps you aligned with your purpose. It preserves your energy, strengthens your character, and multiplies your impact. It teaches people to respect you, it creates opportunities you never imagined, and it ensures that your legacy is not one of burnout, but of lasting contribution. Kindness without direction is like scattered seeds on hard ground. Selective kindness is planting those seeds in fertile soil where they can grow into something powerful and enduring. So do not waste your strength trying to be everything to everyone. Do not confuse fear-driven niceness with strength-driven kindness. Choose wisely, give intentionally, stand firmly. Because when you live with selective kindness, you are not just being good, you are being effective. You are not just being liked, you are being respected. You are not just passing through, you are building something that lasts. And in that balance of compassion and clarity lies the path to influence, to success, and to a life of true meaning. Living with purpose means recognizing that your time, your energy, and your attention are not infinite. Every single day, you wake up with a limited supply of hours, a limited capacity to give, a limited amount of strength to pour into the world. And the truth is, not everyone deserves access to that energy. Not everyone has earned a seat at the table of your life. If you want to rise in 2025, if you want to become more than who you were yesterday, you need to stop scattering your power in every direction and start making intentional choices about where it goes. When you live without purpose, you drift. You say yes to things that drain you. You spend time with people who don't value you. You chase approval that leaves you empty. You mistake movement for progress. And at the end of the day, you're exhausted but unfulfilled. That's the trap of living without clarity. But when you live with purpose, every decision becomes sharper. You stop chasing every opportunity. And instead, you focus on the ones aligned with your calling. You stop pouring energy into people who take without giving, and you start investing in those who grow with you, who challenge you, who inspire you to stand taller. Purpose is not just an abstract idea, it's a filter. It's the lens that helps you decide who deserves your energy. Think about it. If you're trying to climb a mountain, you can't carry every single person you meet along the way. Some people will help you climb, others will weigh you down. Some will encourage you, others will distract you. If you don't choose wisely, you'll never reach the summit. But if you do, if you invest in the right people, if you surround yourself with those who believe in your mission, you'll not only reach the top, you'll enjoy the journey. Living with purpose also requires courage, because it means you will have to let go of certain relationships, certain habits, certain comforts. It means saying no to people who expect your constant availability. It means standing firm when others try to guilt you into giving what you don't have to spare. And it means facing the discomfort of being misunderstood, because not everyone will like your decisions. But remember this, purpose is not about pleasing everyone, it's about becoming the person you were meant to be. And the people who truly deserve your energy will respect that, even if they don't always understand it. The year 2025 is a turning point for many. The world is louder than ever, distractions are everywhere, and everyone is demanding your attention. Social media pulls at you, obligations pile up, and false urgencies disguise themselves as priorities. If you don't live with purpose, you will lose yourself in the noise. But if you do, you'll cut through the chaos like a blade. You'll know where to place your focus. You'll know who deserves your time. You'll know which battles are worth fighting and which ones are traps. That clarity is power. That clarity is freedom. Living with purpose doesn't mean closing your heart. It means opening it wisely. It means recognizing that your love, your support, your kindness carry weight, and that weight should not be wasted. It means choosing to give to people who grow because of your presence, not people who diminish you. It means building relationships that elevate, not ones that suffocate. And when you begin to align your energy with those who match your values, your life transforms. You feel lighter, stronger, more focused. You stop living in reaction, and you start living with intention. Success in 2025 will not belong to the busiest people. It will belong to the most purposeful, the ones who know how to guard their energy, how to protect their focus, how to give their best where it matters most. You don't need to be everywhere. You don't need to please everyone. You just need to be consistent, intentional, and aligned with your values. That is what builds influence. That is what builds trust. That is what creates a legacy worth leaving. But there's something deeper here too. Living with purpose means you respect yourself enough to decide. It means you no longer hand out pieces of yourself like they cost nothing. It means you understand your own worth. And when you do, people notice. They see the strength in your choices. They feel the weight of your presence. They recognize that when you give your energy, it means something. And that recognition builds respect. Respect builds influence. Influence builds opportunity. And opportunity builds the kind of success that lasts. Now, you may ask, how do I know who deserves my energy? The answer is simple, but not always easy. Pay attention to how people make you feel after you've spent time with them. Do they leave you drained or inspired? Do they challenge you to grow or pull you back into comfort? Do they respect your boundaries or constantly push against them? The ones who deserve your energy are the ones who fuel your vision, who walk beside you in storms, who celebrate your wins without jealousy, who correct you when you stray but never abandon you. Those are the people worth your investment. The choice is yours. You can continue to live scattered, saying yes to everything, giving to everyone, running in circles. Or you can step into 2025 with purpose. You can guard your energy like the treasure at Island. You can decide with clarity and courage who gets access to you and who doesn't. And when you make that shift, your life changes. You stop living small. You stop being consumed by what doesn't matter. And you start living with power, with direction, with intention. That is how you create not just success, but significance. So let 2025 be the year you stop wasting energy on people who don't value it. Let it be the year you align your choices with your purpose. Let it be the year you walk with conviction, give with wisdom, and love with strength. Because when you do, you don't just survive another year. You rise into the future with clarity, focus, and the unshakable fire of someone who knows exactly why they are here and exactly where they are going.